bit surprised that you didn't consider going off into med school. Did you?
That was never a consideration. I loved science when I was in high school. I was a big nerd in high school. I was in mathletes, and math was my major. I scored extremely well in all the Regents exams that we take in New York, and I wanted to study math, which was another issue. When I got to college, I went straight to the math department and I told them I'm going to major in math, and you know what they said to me? But you're a
Oh.
girl. I was like, okay.
What?
Yes, it was crazy. I was like, okay. I'm like, but yes, I am a girl and I love math and I'm majoring in it. And it actually made me more determined that I was going to do this despite the fact that they said what they said. And there were quite a few women in our math major, and I'm still friends with some of the girls that were in the same program with me.
Let me ask you, who said that to you? Was it somebody in, well, I guess they don't have guidance counselors, but academic counseling?
It
They said
wasn't
that?
it wasn't a professor. He was like maybe a teaching assistant or something like that. I forgot. I remember who the person was who said it to me, but he definitely wasn't a professor, but he was a teacher there.
Wow, that floors me.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy.
I'm glad it didn't deter you.
I'm a very headstrong person. When I decide on what I want and what I'm doing, and I had it all planned out. I know a lot of people who go to college, they don't know what they want to major in the first couple of years, but I knew. I don't know. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew what my major was. Although I did have in the back of my head that, it could change and that was okay too. But I definitely went in and I had a plan.
Well, I can see that about you. I can see you're a planner and you think ahead, hence the name of your law firm. So the reason I was asking about the med school thing is I'm sure you've heard the joke that lawyers go to law school because they can't do math. Have you heard that before?
I have not.
Well, they probably don't say that to you because you're good at math. So then why did you go into family law? Why didn't you pick something like tax or, something that's really focused on numbers?
Funny you should ask. So actually, when I went to law school, I had a plan there too, right? So I plan a lot of things, or at least I have ideas and thoughts, of what I might want to do or what is motivating me. So my grandmother had dementia when I was in college. And so I remember when she was in the hospital and the way the doctors would talk with my mom and, the kids and all of us. And it didn't it felt like they were more treating the patient. They didn't recognize that, even though we're not technically the patient, we still need some care and spoken to in some level of understanding. And so that got me really interested in estate planning. I was really interested in caring for the family, making sure the family's going to be provided for, that if there is wealth that people have accumulated, that there's a way that they can preserve it, protect it, pass it on to the next generation. I'm all for paying whatever proper taxes you need to pay. But if there are things that you can do to reduce that. So went to law school thinking I would become a trust and estates attorney. And when I got to law school, I was very interested in that, but I also spoke with a professor in the law school who encouraged me to take a basic federal income tax law class. And so I took it and I loved it. I was like, oh my God, like math, law, this is so great. So actually, well, we don't, but we don't have majors in law school, right? You just take classes. There's certain core classes that we all take, and then you take other things. So for me, my other things was every tax law class that they offered at law school. I took it because I was like, maybe I'll become a tax lawyer, or I'll do the trust and estates, and now I need the tax law background. But life has different ways of setting you in different directions, which is more to the story to get to where I am now. Are you ready to hear more?
Yes, yes.
So essentially, I took every tax law class there was at law school. I then applied for jobs after graduating, studying for the bar exam. And during my studies for the bar exam, I got offered two positions with two solo law firms. So one was a solo female attorney who did real estate. So that was her law practice. And the other one was a matrimonial attorney. And they both shared an office and they were looking to share an associate. So I accepted the position working for them. And the irony is that that's the direction that my career path went. So I wound up working for these two lawyers doing real estate and family law. And every time I got a matrimonial assignment to do, for whatever reason, I would put it in the bottom of the pile. The real estate ones I would put on top, and the matrimonial ones I throw in the bottom. I don't know why I did that, but I do remember having those moments where that's what I would do.
Yeah, sounds reasonable.
And so I worked there for a little bit, but then again, my love was tax law. So by the time I took the bar exam and I passed, but between taking the bar exam and finding out that I passed, I got offered a job for a tax lawyer. So what did I do? Of course, I left those two solo practitioners and I went to work in tax law with a tax law attorney in Long Island. And while I loved the work, I just wasn't happy there. It wasn't a fit for me in that particular environment. So I only stayed for a few months. And then I wound up leaving and going to another law firm, which was more of an entertainment law firm. And there I got exposure to so many different areas of law, like contract law, entertainment law, estate planning, real estate closings. I didn't realize this at the time, but my boss, he would come out of his office and I would overhear him talking to a couple of the clients that he was talking to, and he would tell them, you take this paper and you take these notes and you go find a divorce lawyer and you tell them they're not to change anything. These are the terms and all you need them to do is draft up the paperwork. And I didn't really understand what was going on or what he was doing. In hindsight, I now realize that he mediated the terms of this couple's divorce for them. And he was just so eloquent. He had such a way with words and with his speech. He was so brilliant. I loved working for him and I learned so much working there. And it's just interesting how my whole career path kind of led me to where I am now, even though I had no plans or any intention whatsoever to become a family lawyer. In fact, when I was in law school, as apparently a lot of people from my law school go into family law, go into matrimonial law. I didn't know that at the time. And people kept asking me, are you going to become a matrimonial attorney? Are you going to be a divorce lawyer? I was like, absolutely not. I'm never touching that with a 10-foot pole. And you know what they say about never say never.
Yeah. Well, I like that saying, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans.
Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh, that's my life. I make all these plans and then everything kind of, but it's nice. I have this, my experience, I feel like built upon one another and led me to have knowledge and expertise that really helps me and helps my clients with what they're going through. So it feels like it was just so perfect. Like I couldn't have planned it any better than the experience that I got.
It sounds nice that you had that other varied experience. I really only did family law right from the very beginning. I had a little bit of exposure to some real estate and some criminal work because I worked for someone who did those things, but I never really worked on them.
Hmm.
And in hindsight, I think it would have been really great to have that experience because in family law, when you're doing a divorce, so many things come up. You know, a criminal matter could come up, domestic violence issues come up all the time. Real estate comes up frequently. Bankruptcy comes up. I haven't heard you say anything about that, but you can't do everything. But I think that's really great that you had that experience. And I'm sure that that helps you now when you see these little issues, right?
Absolutely. I mean, just my experience, I was very lucky and never wanted to work at those really big law firms. You know, I heard about a lot of my colleagues who did work at the big law firms, and a lot of them wound up just doing doc review. I couldn't wait to be talking with clients and meeting with clients and really feeling like I was helping people. And so I always worked at small law firms because I got that opportunity and I really got the chance to learn how to communicate and interact with my clients and find that balance.